హలో సార్. గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ సార్. నేను పెట్టనా మెయిల్ పెట్టనా?
హలో తేజ మ్యామ్, చెక్ చేయండి ఇప్పుడు ఒకసారి.
ఓకే సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. చేస్తున్నాను, ఒక్క నిమిషం. అసలు మన సిఎస్సి ఛానల్ ఇప్పుడు వస్తుంది.
చూడండి.
ఇప్పుడు వస్తుంది, రివర్స్ ఏం లేదు, బానే ఉంది.
ఓకే ఓకే.
ఒకసారి స్క్రీన్ షేర్ కూడా టెస్ట్ చేసేద్దామా రమేష్, సేఫ్టీకి మళ్ళీ.
ఇవ్వండి మేడం, షేర్ చేయండి.
మ్మ్. కనిపిస్తుందా?
వస్తుంది ప్రజెంటింగ్. ఓకే, డన్ మ్యామ్.
యూట్యూబ్లో కూడా చూద్దాం ఎట్లా వస్తుందా.
యూట్యూబ్లో వస్తుందా?
యూట్యూబ్ కొంచెం డిలే వస్తుంది కదా.
అదే 5-6 సెకండ్ వస్తుంది మేడం.
ఇప్పుడు యూట్యూబ్ లో ప్రెజెంటింగ్ వచ్చినప్పుడు మీరు అక్కడ స్క్రీన్ ని అన్పిన్ చేయాలి.
అర్థమైంది.
ఓకేనా?
ఓకే మేడం.
ఓకే, మన గెస్ట్లు ప్రెజెంట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు.
ఓకే.
సరే, నేను ఒకసారి గెస్ట్ ఫోన్ కొట్టుకుంటాను. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, very good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Professor George. This is Professor.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm recovering from the coronavirus,
Oh,
so my voice is not that clear this morning.
oh. Please take care. Take care of your health. Yeah, yeah. Nice.
So I, I'll be online and give a short presentation in about 3 hours or so, 2 hours and a half
Fine.
or 3 hours, according to schedule anyway.
That's nice. Yeah. We'll be happy to listen to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Check. Good morning, one and all. On behalf of VNR Vignan Jyoti Institute of Engineering and Technology, it is our great pleasure and privilege to extend a warm and hearty welcome to all of you to the inaugural ceremony of the 5th International Conference on Advances in Computer Engineering and Communication Systems, ICACECS 2024. ICACECS 24 is organized by the Department of Computer Science Engineering, Vienna VJIET, in collaboration with Cyber Security Center of Excellence, a joint initiative of the Government of Telangana and DSCI. This year, we are particularly delighted as ICACECS 2024 finds itself co-located at the prestigious University of West Indies at Mona, Jamaica, and Mohan Babu University, Andhra Pradesh. The University of the West Indies, Jamaica holds a special place in the academic world as the founding campus of the unique, multi-part, multinational University of the West Indies. Mohan Babu University stands tall among India's premier institutions, having an array of prestigious rankings and accreditations. It is an honor to collaborate with these esteemed institutions, and we are excited about the opportunity for global collaboration and knowledge exchange that these co-locations present. ICACECS 24 is a testament to our commitment to fostering innovation, collaboration, and the exchange of ideas in the fields of computer engineering and communication systems. ICACECS 24 is a unique forum bringing together scholars from different countries to participate and transform the research landscape of the globe and carve a roadmap for implementation. It provides a valuable networking opportunities and brings a new era for research scholars, industrialists, professors, and students, providing insights to the recent trends and developments in the field of computer science with a special focus on mezzanine technologies. To start the proceedings of the International Conference on Advances in Computer Engineering and Communication Systems, ICACECS 24. Please join me in welcoming the Program Chair, Dr. V. Baby Garu, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science Engineering, VNRVJ IIT, to grace the days. Thank you. Go to the center, smile, and go. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to take the privilege of inviting General Chair Dr. S. Nagini Garu, Head Department of Computer Science Engineering and Computer Science Business Systems, to grace the days. Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. B. Chennakesava Garu, Director, VNRVJ IIT, to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir. Now I take the privilege of inviting our guest of honor, Professor A. Govardhan Garu, Senior Professor, JNTU Hyderabad College of Engineering, to grace the occasion. Sir is joining us virtually. A huge round of applause. Thank you, sir. May I take the privilege of inviting our chief guest, Dr. George Srinitz Garu, Department of Informatics, University of Paris, Greece, to grace the occasion. Sir is joining us virtually.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for the kind invitation. I'm very happy and honored to join this conference.
Thank you, sir. It's our privilege to have you on this occasion. Please join me in welcoming Dr. K. Sruchan Raju Garu, Professor, Dean of Training and Head, Department of Computer Science Engineering, CMR Technical Campus, to grace the occasion. Joining us virtually, thank you, sir. Sir, you're on mute, sir.
Thank you for inviting me for this conference, ICACECS. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh Garu, Director, Vignan Jyoti Institute of Management, to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir. Thank you all for joining us. Now I request all the dignitaries to mark the inaugural of the International Conference on Advances in Computer Engineering and Communication Systems, ICACECS 24, by lighting the lamp. Dr. Chennakeswarav Garu, Director, Vienna VGIT, lighting the lamp. Dr. Nagini Ma'am, Head Department of Computer Science Engineering. Dr. Baby Ma'am, Program Chair. Dr. Vijay Saraswati, lighting the lamp, marking the inaugural of ICACECS 24. Thank you, everyone. Now I invite the team of CSC to invoke the blessings of the divine.
गणेशाय नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Thank you, ma'am. Now let me take the privilege of inviting Dr. V. Baby Garu, Associate Professor, Computer Science Engineering, Vienna VGIT, to welcome the audience.
Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, students, and dear participants, a very good morning to one and all. As we commence 5th International Conference on Advances in Computer Engineering and Communication Systems, ICACECS 2024, I am delighted to extend a warm welcome to each one of you. This time, ICACECS 2024 is also co-located at the University of the West Indies, Mona, Jamaica, and Mohan Babu University, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh. The conference focuses on artificial intelligence, data analytics, knowledge engineering, networks, communication systems, cybersecurity, and Internet of Things. We received an overwhelming responses from researchers with a total of 995 submissions. Among these, 823 are from across India and 72 are from international submissions from different countries, including USA, UK, Australia, Canada, Germany, Malaysia, Philippines, Uganda, Nigeria, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Denmark. The final acceptance is given for 62 quality research articles. We are honored to host this gathering of researchers, eminent speakers, academicians, and industry experts. Over these 2 days, we will engage in enlightening keynote addresses and paper presentations in different tracks. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our keynote speakers, session chairs, authors, reviewers, sponsors, and all participants. Your contributions are vital to the success of this conference. I also wanted to thank the organizing committee and volunteers who have worked tirelessly to make this event possible. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to the stimulating exchanges and fruitful discussions for these 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I take the privilege of inviting Dr. S. Nagini Garu, Professor and Head Department of Computer Science Engineering, to give the address.
A very good morning to all of you, and a warm welcome to the dignitaries on the dais who have joined us online, and I congratulate the team ICACECS 2024 for making it a grand success, because the number speaks here, the data speaks here. So we got a good number of papers beyond 900 plus, and out of which we just accepted 55. Emphasizing on maintaining the quality, this is our importance. We are trying to make sure our students are also aligned in this direction to publish papers which are very much quality, which have very much quality. Before proceeding ahead, I just want to thank the management, principal and director who give us the immense flexibility of taking ICACECS conference every year. This is the 5th time we are hosting this in the institute. This is the only department which has a legacy of hosting conferences in the past 5 years every year. And every year there is a progression towards a betterment in quality of publications and research. Many of our students' papers are also getting into the patents and all these things. And I thank the Springer team, Dr. Srijan Raju sir and all who believed in us for the past 5 years and have been granting us this conference every year. Thank you very much, sir. And I wanted to say, please continue the same spirits with us. Every year we are sure we are going to progress in a very positive way, collaborating internationally in many with different universities and also nationally with many set of universities. And I thank Mohan Babu University people for believing in us and for working with us together, and the Cyber Center of Excellence also to work with us. And University of Mona, the other one which we are collocated internationally. We are fortunate enough that there have been immense support from all these units towards the success of ICACECS 2024. For the people who are joining as participants, just wanted to give a brief introduction about Department of CSC. Department of CSC is initiated in the year 1995. There the intake initially was 60. As on today, we are at 240 in CSC, and we are also having another branch which has been added to us, that is CSBS, with an intake of 60. And we are fortunate enough to say that our students are the topmost students among Telangana and other regions, and the highest packages are going beyond 90 plus lakhs. And the average salary among the students is going up to 11 lakh plus. This is the statistics with respect to our CSE students, and they are the winners in many hackathons. Wherever they go, they definitely go through the participation and also win and come back in all aspects, not only in academics, but also curricular and co-curricular. And with this, I thank the people who are involved here to make the occasion a grand success. To each one of you, a big thanks and a good round of applause from my side. And congratulations for the members who are going to present the papers. All the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Dr. B. Chennakesarao Garu, Director, Vienna VJIET, to address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you. Namaskar. Swagatam, Suswagatam to all the delegates, distinguished guests, and my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, once again, I would like to congratulate the department for organizing 5th time International Conference on Advances in Computer Science and Engineering, and as well the communication systems being conducted at VNRBJT today and tomorrow. So on behalf of VNRBJT, on my own behalf, once again, I extend warm welcome to all of you for this prestigious international conference organized at VNRBJT in association with West Indies and as well as the Mohan Babu College. So first of all, I would like to thank all the delegates with your enthusiasm to participate in this conference. So nearly 900 plus papers we have received, out of which only 6% we have accepted. Please all of you give a big hand to all the papers who have been identified to present here in this conference. So today I think everybody is talking about the computer science. So without computer science, I think nobody is interested to join in any other disciplines. You are ruling the engineering streams. So definitely I would like to compliment all the people who are doing extremely good job in this particular domain. So I would like to emphasize there are 4 or 5 important areas which are very, very important. for the computer science engineering, the phase at which the technology is moving, I think it is very, very difficult to sustain also. So in this connection, I request all the scholars and teachers, please to try to acquire the knowledge that is required by the industry 4.0. So especially, I think today everybody is talking about AI, machine learning. That is, a generative AI is going to one of the important area in this particular computer science. So by 2030, I think we are going to cross $4.4 trillion economy in generative AI itself. So that's why there is a great demand for generative AI. So in this connection, I request all of you, please try to acquire the skill that is required to learn AI. Even though AI algorithms you are using, but still I think generative AI is going to is going to dominating in this particular field, especially for content development, image processing, all these areas I think are very, very important. Then the second area is the quantum computing. Anyway, I think the experts are there, the chief guest and guest of honor, all those people, they are going to explain about how the future trends of computer science engineering and as well as the communication systems. So quantum computing, there is a lot of scope is there for development of computing facilities also. In this connection, I think as and today IBM developed 100 qubits quantum computing. I think in India, I think still we are doing a lot of research in this particular area. I think 4 qubits or 10 qubits only we have practiced at IBM in India. But in abroad, I think 100 qubits already they have developed. So that is the development in quantum computing. So there is a lot of scope is there, because unless you provide the computing facilities, I think we can make use of all these applications. I think are very, very difficult. So in this connection, I request all of you, please try to focus on quantum computing also, in addition to cloud computing, edge computing, and IoT devices. And the third one is, I think, impact of especially bioinformatics. So biology and information technology together, if we can make use, so definitely we can provide especially the quality solutions in the healthcare sector also. So in this connection, I request all of you, please try to acquire the knowledge that is required in biology and computer science together and make use of the latest tools that are available. And that way, I think you can enrich knowledge in this particular domain and you can publish papers also. And then recently, I think remote healthcare is also picking up. So especially we are all doing a lot of work in the urban areas only. But when it goes to the remote areas, like today, I think the internet era, I think each and every remote village is also connected through internet. So please, all of you, work how to provide the remote healthcare facilities, so that by using this information technology, how we are going to effectively utilize this remote healthcare facilities. So that way, I think we can improve the life of rural people also. So that is another area where you can focus. And autonomous vehicle, so that is also a very good area. Regenerative agriculture tech. So these are some of the areas. I think the technologies, lot of improvement is there in these areas: healthcare, agriculture tech, and FinTech also. These three areas, I think if you can focus, you can do wonders. So I wish you all, I think, please focus on these areas and try to acquire the knowledge that is required, especially the students. Today, I think they are unable to select one path, because if they are, by the time they are going to learn that one, that's going to be the outdated technology. So that is the reason, that's why the students, I think you have to focus on a particular path, one or two paths, and try to acquire the knowledge and try to do some research in that particular area and build your confidence level so that you can do wonders in this particular world. So another area that is very, very important, UI and UX design is also, that is an upcoming area for the computer science engineers. So please try to concentrate on this one. And so these are some of the, I think, trends we are expecting in the computer science to upgrade the skills in this particular area so that you can do wonders. And the next important one is, I think, especially in a VNR VJT, we are giving top most important even for research also, in addition to academics, because we are doing extremely good in academics, but in addition to that, we are also allowing them to do research in this particular domain areas like emerging technologies, AI, machine learning, and deep learning, IoT, cyber security. So cyber security is also one of the important areas. So please, all of you, concentrate on cyber security. How I think we are going to prevent the thefts. So all these things you can discuss in this particular domain. I think there are so many domains are there. I think we have a parallel sessions. I think 67 papers are going to be presented. Please try to discuss. Only simply if you can present, you will not get anything, but discuss with the delegates and try to acquire the other gaps that are there in that particular domain. So that way you can enrich your knowledge in this particular area. I wish you all good luck. I hope you are going to enjoy these 2 days. At the end of the day, definitely you are going to learn some delta theta so that you can implement at your end. I wish you all good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us the importance of skilling up in the domain of emerging technologies. Now we invite Ms. Pratibha Rani Saha to introduce guest of honor, Professor A. Govardhan Garu, Senior Professor, JNTU, Hyderabad College of Engineering, to you all.
It is an honor and privilege to introduce Dr. A. Govardhan Garu to you all. He is presently serving as Senior Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, JNTU, Hyderabad College of Engineering. He served and held several academic and administrative positions, including Rector, Executive Council Member, Finance Committee Member, Registrar in Charge, Nodal Officer, Principal, Director, School of Information Technology, Director of Evaluation, Officer in Charge of Examinations, Head, Student Advisor, Chairman and Member of Boards and Boards of Studies, and Students Advisor of various committees at national and state level. He has 30 years of accomplished service with teaching, research, and administrative experience. He is the recipient of 45 international and national awards and National State Merit Scholarships, including the Visionary Edu Leader of the Year 2023 Award, Most Influential Thought Leaders to Follow Award, Elsewhere Lifetime Achievement Award, Inspiring Educationist Award 2019, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Excellency Award, Best Senior Scientist Award, Devang Mehta Academic Leadership Award, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan National Award, AP State Government Best Teacher Award, Pride of Asia International Award, Best Principal, Bharat Sevaratna Puraskar, CSI Chapter Patron Award, Bharat Jyoti Award, Mother Teresa Award for Outstanding Services, Achievements, Contributions, Meritorious Services, Remarkable Role in the Field of Education and Service to the Nation. He is member of Boards of Governors and Academic Councils for a number of colleges. He is also on the editorial boards of 12 international journals. Dr. Govardhan has served as the member of advisory boards, academic boards, and technical boards. He has edited 10 books and proceedings, including 3 monographs and 10 book chapters in Springer publications. He has guided 102 PhD theses, 1 MPhil, and 140 MTech projects. He has published 555 research papers at international and national journals and conferences, including IEEE, ACM, Springer, Elsewhere, IGI Global, Taylor and Francis, and IndoScience. He has delivered more than 150 keynote speeches, invited lectures of various CSE, IT, professional development related topics, including the latest topics like data science, information retrieval systems, cybersecurity, art of doing research, research methodologies, National Education Policy 2020, etc. His areas of research include database, data science, security information retrieval systems, and educational leadership. He has introduced several reforms, innovative practices, and adapted several best practices at various levels in the university. Welcome, sir. It is indeed an honor to have you here today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. A. Govardhan Rao Garu to address the gathering.
Thank you very much. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for my introduction, but I always consider myself as a simple human being. Thank you very much for the nice introduction that you have given. All the distinguished dignitaries of this 5th International Conference, 5th in the series, ICA CECS 2024, which is being organized by VNR Vijay IET and jointly with Mohan Babu University and the University of Mona and other eminent universities across the globe. all the distinguished dignitaries of this international conference, the chief guest of today's program, Dr. George A., Department of Informatics from University of Peru, Greece, and Sri D. Suresh Babu Garu, the President of the Society of VNR Vijay IIT, and Engineer J.S. Rao Garu, the General Secretary of VNR Vignan Jyoti IET, and the Principal of the college, Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, and Dr. Chennakeshwar Rao Garu, Director of the Institute, and Dr. Nagini Garu, Professor and Head of the Department, and Dr. V. Baby Garu, the Program Chair of this conference, and my best friends, Dr. K. Sujan Raju Garu, Professor Dean of Training and Head of the Department from CMR Technical Campus, and also one of the editors of this program, and special invitee for this conference, and Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh, Dr. Vijay IM, and Dr. M. Sunil Kumar Garu from MBU Tirupati, and other distinguished invitees, keynote speakers, session chairs, judges, and other reviewers, delegates, staff of the VNR VJIT, and the entire staff of the program committee and various committees of this international conference. Dear student friends, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to you all. I deem it as a privilege to be as a guest of honor to this international conference. I was also associated with this conference, and in the series, whenever the conference was being organized by VNR VJIT, I have been associated with that. Thank you very much for VNR VJIT, the entire management and staff, for involving me in the international conference. And as rightly mentioned by all the previous speakers, presently we are living in the world called VUCA world, which is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. And you have seen the kinds of developments that are taking place, particularly in the recent past. If you look at the past decade, the changes are rapid, and growth is significant. And at the same time, you also see a lot of technological growth in an exponential way. And we also see the challenges and issues cropping up across the globe from time to time. And there would be no wonder the solutions are competing with the challenges which are being posed by the nature or in the ecosystem that we have. So as rightly mentioned by all of you, this conference would definitely yield some kind of cost-effective and low-cost solutions to see that the technological contributions will be made, to see that we also make the contributions through our research to the deserving society. And particularly, as mentioned by all the previous speakers, the trend that we have today is that the research that is to be done is interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. Those were the days where we used to have only the specializations sitting between the four walls and trying ourselves to confine to our own domain. But now the world is changed, and we'll have to see that how best we can collaborate. You have the expertise, somebody else has got some expertise in some domain, so is the case with others. So how best we can collaborate and see that the best solutions are evolved in the process. So that is the kind of trend that you see. So that's the reason you should move towards interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary notions to see that the solutions are made in the best way possible. If you just try to realize once again that the real world problems do not have the boundaries, in the sense that I belong to computer science alone, or I belong to artificial intelligence alone, but you have multidisciplines, multiple disciplines in which a lot of technological contribution should also be available. At the same time, the domain expertise is also required. So from that perspective, it is very much essential and need of the hour to collaborate ourselves in terms of the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary, and see that we'll provide the best solutions. As I have been mentioning, the world is posing several challenges to us, though we have been trying to make ourselves more innovative and trying to find solutions to the challenges from time to time. But if you look at the contemporary world across the globe that is going on, we find several challenges. So you have to understand that and try to see that how best we can also try to provide the solutions. So from that perspective, UN has defined 17 sustainable development goals. These goals have to be achieved by 2030, and technologists, researchers, engineers can contribute to see that how best we can take the clues from these 17 sustainable development goals and try to find the solutions, so that the entire world can have a kind of harmony and ecosystem to see that will sustain and will also provide the best planet, not only for our generations but also for the generations yet to come. And you see a lot of technological changes are coming, but at the same time challenges from multi-dimensional challenges that you get in terms of the global warming, in terms of the health crisis that you see, in terms of the financial crisis that you see, geographical and several other challenges that we find. So how best we can find the solutions from time to time? You see, the natural calamities are happening these days. As I always say that no, all these are irregularities. All these natural calamities are catastrophic events. But these irregularities have become a regular in series. So how best we can understand the rhythm of the nature, and how best we can understand these challenges and crises, and how best we can find the solution from this. So I'm sure all of you would take the clues from the eminent speakers, like keynote speakers you have, and many special invitees we have the expertise in their chosen domains. And all the delegates would definitely have fruitful deliberations, and I am sure the deliberations of these contributions. I must congratulate all the authors, those who have contributed, and I must also congratulate the entire team of this conference to see that the quality papers are identified, and only those papers, because these days you see the number game also, but they have constrained themselves and confined themselves to see that the quality is sustained, and the quality is no way it is compromised. And that way you see only 6% of papers got selected. So I must appreciate the entire team. I also congratulate the authors who have contributed through their research papers, and I am sure the deliberations of this conference would definitely open the doors of yet unseen world with your contributions. I once again congratulate the entire team, and I also congratulate authors. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing with us the insights on the strides made in multidisciplinary fields and the role of engineers to address the challenges of the VUCA world and attain sustainable development goals and live in harmony with the rhythm of nature. Thank you once again, sir. Please join me in welcoming Engineer Jasti Sheshagiri Rao Garu, General Secretary, Vignana Jyoti, to address the gathering. Sir has joined us virtually. Sir,
1 minute. Yeah, good morning, all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It is audible.
Thank you all. It's a great pleasure to join on this international conference. On behalf of the management, I am really appreciate all the effort done by the team. As I am also being an industrialist, also the necessary of. I totally agree with Dr. Govardhan when he said that this interdisciplinary thing is a must in terms of research, contribution and all, because the domains are all overlapping with each other. And that we clearly see in our industry also, how from a mining to a instrumentation to actual production planning, everything is coming under the, it's an all have to function together to actually give a best output of my product. So it's not that easy, and there are a lot of problems coming in between, and interfacing all these domains is the most important thing. So that's been what we have been trying to advocate at Vigyan Jyoti also. And probably we are also offering them some minor degrees for all non-core subjects also, and trying to make them industry ready. So I appreciate the participation and the researchers, and since computer science, all the related are all emerging technologies now, so they cannot. I personally believe as an industrialist, they cannot operate isolated. They are going to be dependent on all the other core engineering activities also, or their contribution as a service in that area is also a must. So we look forward to all of you deliberating on these issues and taking it forward on a very good research activity. And I appreciate all the paper presentations. As I said, I came to know that very good quality papers are going to be presented, and all the domain speakers are also specialized in various subject core areas. It's going to be a very good interaction, and I appreciate all of you for joining us, and I wish the conference all the best, and thank you all once again. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your best wishes and your support in implementing various multidisciplinary programs at Vignana Jyoti to make students industry ready. So moving on with the proceedings, I invite Dr. Pratibha Rani Saha to introduce our chief guest, Dr. George, Department of Informatics, University of Piraeus, Greece, to you all.
Good morning. Thank you for the kind invitation. I'm very happy and very honored to participate in this conference. I have to apologize because my voice is not very clear. I'm just recovering from the coronavirus. I would like to say a few things about an area of research and opportunity for young researchers, and this is the area of just give me a second. This is the area of decision support systems that are empowered by artificial intelligence. This is indeed a new area in the sense that even though decision support systems have been under development for quite some time, AI is infused into them, and this creates a lot of new challenges and opportunities for research and development. Before I start, let me say a few things about myself. I am a professor in the Department of Informatics of the University of Piraeus, and I have been in this position since 1999. I served as the department head during 2016 to 2020, and I am currently a member of the board of directors of the university. Along with Professor Lakshmi Jain and Professor Maria Virbu, we have co-founded and are co-editing two Springer series on topics that relate to computer science and to artificial intelligence. And I'm also serving as the chief editor of the Intelligent Decision Technologies Journal. Now, about the decision support systems, a lot of things have been said about decisions and making good decisions, and we all understand their importance and the difficulties in reaching good decisions. Decision support systems have been under development exactly to provide help and assistance towards making good decisions. They make use of extensive data sets, various business models, and advanced data analytics methods. They access extensive databases and data warehouses, and they support humans in making good decisions and in addressing several organizational issues. Decision support systems are not a new area or a new technology, but they have been around for quite some times. and they have proven particularly useful, especially at the high and strategic levels, and they only require limited programming skills from their users. But what is taking place these days is that artificial intelligence is infused in them, and this makes them more autonomous, but this autonomy has to be trustworthy. Also, current decision support systems may analyze very extensive data sets, which includes data other than the traditional economic data. For example, this data may relate to mobility, to activities, to trips, to buying habits, or they may contain medical information or energy consumption information. And these decision support systems are applied to ever broader application areas. Why do we need them? Well, if we look at some predictions for the next years, these predictions indicate that about this great number of data will be produced daily. This is a huge number. This is 2 followed by 14 zeros in gigabytes. And if we compare to the memory in a common laptop, this is many, many, many times bigger than that. Moreover, if we were to transfer this data through current internet rates, this might take about 2 billion years. Or if we were to store this data on CDs, then the stack would surround the Earth 222 times. Therefore, various challenges arise with the availability of all this data. For example, we need to be selective which portion of this data is to be collected so that the desired information is included in it. How should we organize the data and how should we structure it to make its management more efficient? What are optimum or close to optimum data processing algorithms to extract the desired information from this data? How can we avoid data misuse, especially when the data is sensitive, such as, for example, personal information or medical information? Also, what networks and protocols need to be developed to transmit this data efficiently? And a number of moral and ethical and legal concerns arise, and they need to be accordingly addressed. If we take a step back, we'll see that computer science and computer technology have affected 3 major revolutions, and the first one of those was affected in the latter decades of the 20th century, and it was the digital revolution that we lived. I was a student of computer science at that time, so back then this digital revolution was very impressive and very exciting, but today it is considered as something very common and something maybe trivial. An example of this revolution may be, for example, the prediction of weather. A second revolution was effected during the first 20 years of this century, and this was the analytical artificial intelligence, which allowed the processing of huge data sets and the information extraction from them. In the first 20 years of the 21st century, we saw an explosion in data collection, and the use of analytical artificial intelligence tools allowed their efficient processing. For example, these deep learning technologies that were mentioned a few minutes ago, they were very helpful in this direction. What we have been seeing over the past 3 or 4 years is generative AI. That is artificial intelligence which creates or which produces synthetic data sets. For example, today we can give a piece of text to a generative AI tool, and it can convert it to images or to video clips. Or we can describe a theme to a generative AI tool, and it can generate poetry or it can generate a story about this theme. These activities are very close to human activities, and they create some challenges that researchers and developers need to face. Some of these challenges are the following: experience of a person, collective knowledge, and artificial intelligence agents need to be integrated in one interaction. The traditional human machine interaction is now becoming human AI interaction, and this needs further research and development to become efficient. Another challenge is that decision support needs to be oriented to specific individuals or to specific groups of individuals. In other words, it needs to be more specialized or more personalized. Another challenge is that data are often limited and biased, and this may affect the results of the decision support systems. Thus, decision support systems need to be able to handle these complexities imposed by limited and biased data. AI systems, and in particular decision support systems, need to be transparent and need to conform to ethics. And this can be achieved with explainability, trustworthiness, and reliability constraints on these systems. And finally, the software engineering methodologies need to be reconsidered under a holistic software validation and evaluation framework. For example, a system that is supposed to assist in the classroom is not sufficient to just provide correct knowledge, but it is also required to be able to present other values, such as, for example, support when a child is too shy to participate in the classroom, very much like what a human teacher would do. In my view, these systems, and generally AI-empowered systems, cannot replace humans at the moment, but they can only provide assistance to them. In their development, in the development of these systems, artificial intelligence experts and artificial intelligence engineers need to participate, and the evaluation of these systems needs to be holistic and not just a traditional evaluation. Some of these issues we discussed in a book that was published last month with the collaboration and the help of Professor Lakshmi C. Jain. But some of those issues will also be discussed in an upcoming special issue of the Information Sciences Journal, which is expected to appear later this month. Well, thank you for attending my presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. In any case, I thank you very much for the kind invitation, and I wish the very best to your conference.
Thank you, sir. To move on with the proceedings of the conference, I take the privilege of introducing Dr. K. Srujan Garu to you all. Dr. K. Srujan Raju is currently working as Dean of Training and Placement and heading Department of Computer Science and Engineering at CMR Technical Campus. He obtained his doctorate in computer science in the area of network security. He has more than 20 years of experience in academics and research. His research areas include computer networks, information security, data mining, cognitive radio networks, image processing, and other programming languages. Dr. Raju worked on 2 projects funded by the Government of India under CSRI and NST-MIS, and has also filed 16 patents, 5 design patents, 4 utility patents, and 1 copyright on software granted at Indian Patent Office. He has edited more than 24 books published by Springer Book Proceedings of AISC series, LAIS series, and others which are indexed by Scopus. I also authored books in C programming and data structure, exploring to the internet, hacking secrets. He has published more than 100 papers in reputed peer-reviewed journals and international conferences. He is a research consultant to a few engineering and pharmacy colleges and a mentor of T-Hub Telangana. Welcome, sir. It is indeed an honor to have you here today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. K. Srujan Raju Garu to address the gathering.
So thank you for your brief introduction about me. So it is a privilege to me to be on this particular 5th International Conference on ICAC ECS. First, I would like to namaskar to my guru, Dr. Govardhan sir, and my other dignitaries on the dais, and Professor Lakshmi Jain, who is always instrumental behind the people like us. And I'm sincerely thanking for accepting our request and delivering that particular address by George. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much for the kind and honorable invitation. I'm very honored.
Yeah, I hope all the speakers have given their inputs, but I would like to limit myself towards to this particular, as a editor of this particular conference, I would like to limit myself to this particular publication part only. So I would like to tell a few important points. I would like to congratulate the entire team of VNR VJIT, including the principal, director, and management, and the conference chairs and editors for not compromising in the quality. So if you look at that, we have received more than 900 plus papers, but our acceptance ratio was around 6%. So here we have observed a few of the challenges as an editor. I'm requesting all the paper researchers who have submitted the publications to our conference. And so here I would like to give few important points. We are facing a lot of challenges, even the technology, how it was growing and all. So the people who have started utilizing these technologies, and these technologies are going to make us little lazy. Previously, the people are supposed to write on their own, but now what happened in the sense, due to this artificial intelligence and machine learning, chat GPTs and Quillbot or the paraphrasing tools and all. So people were started using these particular tools, and they were regenerating the papers. Recently, we have come across from the Springer that they have created their own software. They developed their own software, and which is able to tell them that if anybody have generated a content by using the chat GPT, and if they have changed the synonyms and everything to version 1, version 2, version 3 like that, even so it is going to identify that, and even it is going to tell them. But the point, what is happening in the sense, they are saying that when they are changing versions to versions, the meaning of the content is going to be changed, and ultimately it is not going to be meaningful content. So that is going to be very dangerous for this kind of publications and all. So in another important point, when it will comes to that, the references. So the nowadays what happened in the sense, people were just started giving the references of self citations, and even whether it is related or not. So they were just simply giving their references, and that is also it is going to find, and it is going to tell us. But when it will look at that, the important aspect to this, related to this conference, we have observed that more number of university students were started submitting the papers, like BTech students were submitting the papers, but still we found that there is a lacking in writing of their particular things. And when we are using the Turnitin AI plagiarism tool, most of the time we have found nearly 70 to 90% AI content generated, fraudly content generated using that AI tools. We found that in those particular papers. But apart from that, there are few good papers were there. Out of that, it is a big challenge to the editorial team of this ICAC ECS to find it out, to shortlist and select the required number of the papers for this particular conference. So it took a lot of time for us, and finally we have sent the acceptance for 60 plus papers. But I would like to request all other authors not to get disappointed. And so we are having some other conferences which are going to come in the future. Like one conference we are doing in CMR Technical Campus in the month of August itself, 31st. But the registrations were closed. But the registrations were open for IC3T at Mohan Babu University in the October first week, 4th and 5th. And in the September, we are having one conference at Asia Pacific University, Malaysia. And again, we are having another conference in the month of January at Dubai, and one more conference in the month of June at London. And we are going to have series of conferences which we are going to do, and even in the next year, 6th International Conference, ICAC ECS. So what my suggestion to all the authors in the sense, only one important point is, please revise your papers and concentrate on this particular AI generated content and all those things. Please don't use any of the tools. And I'm requesting that not to test in those particular tools also. See, up to 20% is allowed. But the point is, the moment when you are checking your paper in this particular chat GPT or any of these tools, automatically the machine is going to learn. The moment machine is learning, so the next time when Springer or we are going to check, it is giving that reference and it is showing that all the 98% is done. See, recently what happened in the sense, one of the learned researcher, he tested his paper in one of the particular tool. Now automatically what happened in the sense, it was entered into the cache of the tool, and where those people are not ready to remove, and the entire paper, it is showing that 98% plagiarism, even he has not published it. That was the reason authors should be very careful when they are writing it. So please don't use any of these Quillbot or any of these tools. And at the same time, I'm requesting all the authors whose papers have been accepted, and I'm congratulating them. And at the same time, I would like to tell them that don't submit any extension to these papers till these papers are going to be published, because most of the authors, what they are doing in the sense, after they have submitted to us and after they got accepted and we are submitting it to the Springer, and then immediately the extension to that paper, so they are submitting by adding some more results and everything, and they are taking some 30-40% of the content from this particular paper and they are submitting to other. So then again it is resulting to the plagiarism and all. So I'm sincerely requesting all the authors whose papers have been accepted and all. So please be patient, and till these papers are going to be published, do not submit the extension of these particular papers to into any other thing, other journals and other conferences. So at the outset, I would like to congratulate Nagini madam and her entire team for taking this particular risk, because even small thing, all the editors are going to be blacklisted. So it is a very, very typical situation for us to judge which papers should be selected and which papers should be sent to the Springer and all. And at the outset, I'm congratulating to the Nagini madam, the last 4 series, what it got published and indexed, and getting good number of citations. And this is what exactly we are interested in, maintaining the quality and helping the good researchers to come forward and submitting their original researches. Once again, I'm sincerely thanking to the entire VNR VJIT team for wonderful initiations by this kind of conferences, sir, for helping the researchers and for giving me this opportunity to be part of this particular prestigious conference. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us about the essence of writing good and quality research papers, limiting the use of AI tools for writing, and being more creative. I now take the privilege of introducing Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh Garu to you all. Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh serves as Director, Vignana Jyoti Institute of Management. He has published several papers in national and international journals. Currently, he is working on a research project titled The Impact of Chatbots on Hotel Booking, an Empirical Study. He has published 3 books and is in the process of writing books on consumer behavior, portfolio living. He has 15 years of industry experience and 16 years of academic experience. He has also 12 years of teaching experience and 14 years of organizational experience. He has worked in different capacity in various organizations. He has rich experience in teaching, project guidance, mentoring, academic planning and coordination, examination planning, conference and academic events, student affairs content development, and research activity. His research areas include marketing and strategy and contemporary management issues. With these few words, I now welcome Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh Garu to address the gathering.
Honorable guests who are joining virtually, on the dais, off the dais, organizing committee members, participating students, and supporting students. It's indeed an honor to be part of this wonderful event, which is going to guide us towards the future of computers and computer engineering. And I'm sure it's also going to add a lot of new learnings and new knowledge to the depository we already have. I would like to throw some data for all of us to understand how important the research is in our life. So going forward, India produces about 1.5 million engineers. Across the world, globally, we are producing about 1.5 million. US produces about less than 1 lakh. China produces about less than 6 lakhs. So we can understand our importance in the fraternity of the tech world if it goes, what technology has to do and what our responsibilities are. And the students, those who are joining this conference, should understand that computer and computer engineering is an evolving domain. A conservative figure puts it like we have hardly explored about 15 to 20% of the computer's prowess and its power. The huge opportunities lies ahead. So you, as a user of the knowledge, should not be selfish. You also have to add knowledge to the repository of computer engineering. And it's going to happen only through research. Because what has been researched has been published or written, and which you are using it in your domain to study your BTech or engineering. But then what are you going to contribute for the future fellows who are going to follow you? So therefore, research becomes a very important aspect of learning. And academics without research is no academics, because it's a selfish approach. All students have to take note of it. Now, talking about conferences are the fair of academic institutions. In fact, it's like a marriage party where we all showcase our best. So what we did in the past about 6 months to 1 year, we showcase our academic work. And we all should take proud of our research in these conferences and should compete with each other. I was just seriously listening to our CMR professor who was talking about that how quality research is very, very important and how we need to be very careful about things doesn't go out of hand. But I will go a step ahead of this. See, we are studying and we are getting a degree from an institution, but that is not the end of it. Tomorrow, I remember my days when I was graduating, nobody was knowing me because there was no such platform where people can know me. Today, you graduate and I just Google your name, something or the other is visible on the web. So therefore, whether you do a wrong thing or the right thing, it's all getting reflected on the web. So we have to be very quality conscious so that our reputation doesn't get engulfed in anything negative. And you know how the web treats us. Any day you become viral, you're finished for negative reasons. So we have to be very, very careful about how we conduct our academics, our research, our profession, our professional life. We have to be very careful. And as I was saying, don't put anything on the web. You are very innocent, but don't become gullible. Because there are predators on the web who are going to use your information on their name and probably affect you professionally. Now, talking about, so I was talking about the areas where students should be focusing, but I don't know how to go about it. There are plethoras of areas emerging. So by the time you graduate after 4 years, you feel like what you studied is no more relevant. So that's where the research is very, very important to make you relevant, to make you useful moving forward. So I was talking about like bioinformatics, rural healthcare, fuel agnostic engines needs to be designed because sustainability is something very, very important. Green tech, efficient management models, because India is going to be the global leader with 140 crore population. The load is on us, be it technology, be it food security, or be it any kind of management. You see across the world, Indians are at the helm because everyone is looking towards us for finding solutions for any kind of complex problems. So that is where a lot of opportunities exist for all the young engineers to shoulder it. Now, how do we master this tech? People are quite confused. Quite recently, there was an issue with reference to cloud support services of Microsoft, and most of the networks went off. We got a death screen. I'm talking about what is that? Windows 365 Cloud Strike Falcon services affected most of the airports in India. So these are some of the dangerous lies, and this needs to be tackled through research so that this do not get repeated. And so therefore, the students have to be ahead of the curve. So whatever new tech is coming, you have to master it, you have to control it so that no, we are in control of what is going on. We can't be reactive. We need to be proactive. And there's a lot of scare about artificial intelligence that it's going to eat up our jobs. And the professor who was talking about that AI is not going to replace humans. In fact, it's going to help us to quantify our outputs. Maybe we are operating at some level, we can make it 3x, 4x, 5x, or 10x because it's going to help us. So AI will not replace jobs, but it will definitely replace those who don't make friends with AI. So that's my point on this. And now a lot of students, they are fearing of this, that tech is going to affect our job, a lot of job losses, automation is going to affect us. But let me tell you, and I'll quote Obama, Barack Obama, who said about future that we are born to create our future, not to fear our future. Yeah. So shape it up, and I'm so glad that awesome papers have come into these conferences, about 900 plus, and about 62 you have accepted, so very stringent norms. So I look forward to reading some of the quality contributions, and I wish all this conference a wonderful road ahead, and I'm sure most of the students will learn a lot of things from the tracks which are going to unfold. Thank you so much for these opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of appreciation. And we also understood the need for being quality conscious and to be adept with technologies to stay up the curve. And on this platform, we also would like to record our gratitude to Professor Bharat Bhushan Garu for extending an opportunity for collaboration for the next edition of ICACECS 25. A huge round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, Principal, Vienna VJIT, to address the gathering.
Good morning, all of you. So I'm sorry for the late for the conference. I apologize for that. I only say that this is the 5th edition of conference that is held by Department of CSC in a row, continuously. I wondered, we have grown, right? We have grown to the level of 6% acceptance level, starting from somewhere to here. So it's a great thing that we are doing by our editors and other people. On this occasion, I thank all the dignitaries on the dais and also joined online on this conference proceedings, and a lot of streams that will happen. I hope the deliberations will be greatly useful for further research to do by the researchers when they listen to their presenters in this conference. I wish you good luck and congratulate the Department of CSC and Professor Nagini for taking initiative to take it forward further to conduct this conference. I wish you good luck, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our Principal, Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, and our Director, Dr. B. Chennakeswarao Garu, to release the souvenir of the International Conference on Advances in Computer Engineering and Communication Systems, ICACECS 24. We also invite all the program leads to grace the days. To release the copies of the souvenir, we request all the program chairs to grace the days to receive the copy of the souvenir. We request Dr. C. Kiran Ma'am and Dr. B.V. Kiran Ma'am to join us on the days. Thank you, everyone. Now I invite conference co-chair, Dr. Mr. N. Sandeep Chaitanya Garu, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science Engineering, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, one and all. Respected dignitaries on the dais and after the dais. This is N. Sandeep Chaitanya from the Department of CSC, VNR VJIT. It is my honor to say the vote of thanks on its occasion of ICACECS, organized by Department of CSC, VNR VJIT in collaboration with CSI SBC, VNR VJIT, and Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, a joint initiative of DSAI, Data Security Council of India, and Government of Telangana. And the conference is also co-located at the University of Western Days at Mona, Jamaica, and Mohan Babu University, Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh, India. First of all, I would like to thank our management, President Sri D. Suresh Babu Garu, General Secretary Sri J.S. Rao Garu, our Principal Dr. C.D. Naidu Garu, Director B. Chennakeswarao Garu, Head of the Department, CSC Dr. S. Nagini Garu, for encouraging us in conducting the event. On behalf of our team, ICACECS, I would like to thank all the researchers across the globe to participate and present their research work in the 5th International Conference. I would also thank our today's chief guest, Professor Dr. George from Department of Informatics, University of Paris, Greece. Our guest of honor, Professor A. Govardhan Garu, working as a Senior Professor, Department of CSE, JNDH College of Engineering. Our special invitee, Dr. K. Srujendra Babu Garu, working as Professor, Dean of Training and Head of the Department CSE, CM Matters. And our Professor, Dr. Bharat Bhushan Singh Garu, Director, Vijayam, and Program Chair from MBU, Dr. M. Sunil Kumar Garu, Professor and Head of the Department CSE, Mohan Babu University, for accepting our invitation and joining the event and sharing their valuable, great insights. I would also thank today's keynote speakers, Dr. Nitin Naik Garu, working as a Senior Lecturer, Software Engineering and Cybersecurity, School of Computer Science Engineering and Digital Technologies, College of Engineering and Physical Science from Aston University. Dr. Swagatam Das Garu, working as Professor, Electronics and Communications, Science Unit, Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata, India. Dr. Pavan Jain Garu, working as Associate Professor and Internship, Virginia Commonwealth University, Virginia, USA. Dr. Sri Ganesh Totempudi Garu from SRH, Berlin University of Applied Sciences, Germany, for accepting our request and sparing their valuable time in delivering the lectures. I would also thank Dr. D. Ganesh Garu and Dr. M. Sunil Kumar Garu from M. Mohan Babu University for their great continuous support in organizing the event. I would also thank Dr. Manish Jain Garu, Microsoft Copilot, for delivering the lecture during the pre-conference workshop on recent trends in generative AI. I also thank the sponsors from the EduTech platforms like Sri Amit Bansal Garu, founder and CEO of Smart Interviews, Sri T. Rajesh Garu, founder, full stack developer and instructor from Master Coding, Sri C.H. Sri Sumant Garu, director of Tishwa, the software affiliate, Sri M.G. Chaitanya Babu, CEO of Cross Papers, Sri Rupesh Mittal Garu, the founder of Cyber Jagriti Foundation and a cyber security consultant, Sri Veera Reddy Garu, cloud architect consultant from Cyber Ages, and Sri C.M. Reddy Garu from Edway Consultancy for encouraging us in organizing the event. Finally, I would like to congratulate the conveners, Dr. B.V. Kiranmai ma'am, Dr. A. Brahmananda Reddy Garu, General Chairs, Dr. P.V. Shivkumar Garu, Dr. D.N. Vasundhara Garu, Program Chairs, Dr. V. Baby Garu, Dr. G.S. Ramesh Garu, Co-Chairs, Dr. R. Vijay Saraswati Garu, Dr. N.V. Shailaja Garu, and all the committee coordinators and members for their great effort in making the event. Thank you one and all.
Thank you everyone for joining the inaugural. We will take a short break and the keynote will start at 11:05. We thank everyone who has joined us virtually for this inaugural ceremony. Thank you one and all. We request you to join the keynote at 11:05 a.m.
Good morning, Nitin sir.
Hi, hello. How are you?
Good sir. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can
Sir,
you
yes, sir.
see me now?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. So can I share my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see my PowerPoint? Hello?
Yes, sir. The screen is visible, sir.
Okay. So I can. Is it full screen now? Yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Just let me know when we can start. Yeah?
We shall start in 5 minutes. Sir. Just they
Yeah,
have
that's fine.
drink.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, sir. So is everything good at your area, sir? We heard like there are some issues going on UK. Good morning, sir.
So, good morning, Nitin Naik, sir. Warm welcome. We'll be just starting the keynote address by you at 11:05. We will see the audience is back after a cup of tea. And a warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much for being accepting our invitation and for going ahead with the keynote address.
Yeah, Nitin sir, this is Deepak Sukheja. Please unmute yourself.
Tejasvi, can you request Nitin sir to unmute himself so that Deepak Sukheja sir just wanted to interact? Teja?
Please.
Sir, good morning. A warm welcome to Nitin Naik, sir. This is Nagini. Deepak Sukeja, sir, just wanted to interact with you. Thank you for, we are really honored to go ahead with your keynote address. Deepak, sir, is online.
Yeah, Nitin sir, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just need to make it.
लंबे समय के बाद सर देख रहा हूँ आपको मैं.
Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah, thank you. And thanks for invitation. So,
So just after the 5 minutes, sir, we are going to be start the session because just recently just the inaugural ceremony is completed and now.
that's fine. Yeah, you take your time.
Yeah.
And I'm ready whenever you.
Thank you, sir.
So.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Nitin sir. एक गुड न्यूज़ थी नितिन सर. शालिग्राम सर को प्रोफेसर के लिए प्रमोट किया कल. कल
Yeah.
हाँ मैसेज आया था कि जस्ट ही इज प्रमोटेड एज अ प्रोफेसर फ्रॉम 2013.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Nitin sir, just wait 5 minutes. I'm.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir. It is an honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Nitin Naik Garu to you all. Dr. Nitin serves as Senior Lecturer in Software Engineering and Cybersecurity, School of Computer Science and Digital Technologies, College of Engineering and Physical Sciences, Aston University, UK. As a Senior Lecturer in Software Engineering and Cybersecurity at Aston University, he is specialized in advancing the frontiers of cybersecurity and computational intelligence. His research integrates key areas such as artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and big data to address complex challenges in the digital landscape. With a robust academic background, including a PhD in computer science and an MBA in finance, he brings a multidisciplinary perspective to his work, bridging technical expertise with financial acumen to drive innovative solutions and foster a deeper understanding of emerging technologies. Welcome, sir. It is indeed an honor to have you here today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Nitin Naik Garu to deliver the keynote speech.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Let me make it full screen. Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank to the whole organizing committee of ICAC for this invitation and giving me this opportunity to deliver my talk. So my talk is on a very popular and general topic, and I wanted to focus on the hype of ChatGPT and AI chatbots as everybody is using them, and talking about them on daily basis. So I decided to talk about their intelligence. So let's talk about intelligence first. People have been trying to define intelligence since the start of the civilization, but defining such an abstract and almost immeasurable trait is very difficult, and I will certainly not define it, but just try to explain it very broadly to understand intelligence for our AI chatbots. Intelligence is the ability to learn, understand, reason, adopt, and act to surroundings or evolving situations. Human intelligence is not one dimensional. Human intelligence comprises several capabilities or intelligence, as you can see in this figure. These are the most common types of human intelligence. We classify into 9 categories. We can organize them into 2 main categories: mental capabilities and physical capabilities. So mental capabilities include logical and abstract reasoning, common sense reasoning, numerical and mathematical reasoning, problem solving and planning, natural language processing, and many more. Similarly, physical capabilities include sensory understanding, mobility, navigation, and many more. So these are just some of the examples of human capabilities, but not all. And if we ever have any true AI, then AI should have the competent in all these capabilities. Intelligence requires explanation based on a causal understanding of the world, and not just generating and predicting responses like AI chatbots. So let's look at lack of intelligence in chatbot and chat GPTs. But before we look at it, just to make it clear that ChatGPT and all other AI chatbots are an impressive technological achievement, and they are an impressive AI language model powered with generative AI and able to generate surprisingly impressive contents. We should welcome their considerable potential as an assistant to human problem solving. However, it doesn't mean that they represent a new form of intelligence or close to human intelligence. Here, I will focus on only mental capabilities, and we will look at 2 broad categories of intelligence within it: intellectual intelligence, IQ, and emotional intelligence, EQ, which you all know very well. And AI chatbots lack both types of intelligence at the moment. So let's look at lack of intellectual intelligence first. I started testing their intellectual intelligence with simple arithmetic questions, as you can see here. I asked simple arithmetic questions to 2 AI chatbots, Gemini and ChatGPT, as these are the 2 most popular and widely used chatbots. And they cannot provide the correct answer for these questions, are very simple questions, as you can see. The simple trick I did it here is to ask only for direct answer without letting them evaluate it. Gemini even could not provide any answer for a simple arithmetic question when it was asked to provide an answer without evaluating it. There are many ways that you can get incorrect results from these AI chatbots, and I guess most of them you have done it already. Now, what could be the reason behind it? So one of the most obvious reasons is that they are the language model and perhaps not calculating here and merely predicting the next text. You might argue that they can improve it in the future by incorporating various mathematical models. I don't disagree with it, but ChatGPT has already included the most powerful mathematical engine, Wolfram Alpha, and still provide incorrect results sometimes. So, okay, let's assume this is fixed and moved on to the next problem. So now we do the proper testing of intelligence. And traditionally, AI chatbots are tested for their intelligence based on Turing test or Vinograd Schema Challenge, WSC. Turing test is a very old and not a very standard test, so we can use WSC test, which is an advanced version of Turing test. If an AI chatbot passes any of the two tests, then it can be considered as an intelligent AI chatbot. Wait a minute, these tests can only assess some of the facets of intellectual intelligence of human, but not all. And I'm still not fully convinced with these tests. But let's move on to the test. So here you can see an example of WSC test pair in which we choose two almost similar sentences with two different answers to confuse AI chatbots. Okay, so I've tested Gemini and ChatGPT again for their intelligence on a single pair of WSC test. We have got so many pairs in WSC test, but I just use the one. And both are unable to pass WSC test. In this single pair of WSC test, both AI chatbots could not correctly answer both questions in a pair and failed the WSC test currently. Remember, they need to provide different answers for the two questions in a pair. Nevertheless, in future, if these AI chatbots may be able to pass this WSC test, it may be more likely due to self-learning using feedback or enhanced training on additional data, but not likely due to their intelligence. So let's move on to the second intelligence and test AI chatbots on emotional intelligence, which is very easy to test. Well, we all know they don't have it. This is a title page of a very popular movie, Me Before You. I'm not going to talk about it as I'm very emotional and won't be able to complete my talk. But if you want, you can watch it later. So, emotional intelligence is the measurement of the ability of humans to understand and cope with emotions. This intelligence is fundamental to humans for connecting with others on an emotional level. AI chatbots are very effective in providing logical and coherent responses. Nevertheless, they are not human and do not have human emotional intelligence, and they may seem to understand emotions in given questions based on statistical relationship between words in the data, but not like humans. So, when I ask Gemini and ChatGPT about their emotions while watching the movie Me Before You, they replied as shown here. Both Gemini and ChatGPT have explained range of emotions from the data as expected, but not their own. Nevertheless, Gemini acknowledged that as a language model, it cannot experience emotions like a human watching Me Before You. This shows that AI chatbots lack emotional intelligence, and which is very well known. Now let's look at another important aspects of intelligence, the context of conversation, where we think ChatGPT and AI chatbots are very good. Okay, before we test AI chatbots, I want to test you. So can you tell me the answer of this question on your screen? Can you see the question? So question is, Nitin is not born in the UK. Is Nitin born in London? Yes or no? You can type in the chat. But well, I know we all know this, the answer of this question. Yeah, and it is a very simple question for all of us to answer as we understand the context. Okay, so let's look at what Gemini and ChatGPT did. So when I ask the same question with the context of the answer is already given in the question, Gemini and ChatGPT still couldn't answer this question despite providing this context. AI chatbots ascertain the statistical relationship between words in language to provide logical and coherent text. Nevertheless, these AI chatbots do not understand the meaning and context of the text they process or generated, and this is a real problem regarding their actual understanding of human language. So let's look at the brain of these AI chatbots. Before we look at the brains of these AI chatbots, I would like to highlight some important historical developments in the field of language processing and modeling, which has some Indian connection, in particular with Sanskrit language. As you can see, the early work on language processing was started in early 1800, and one of the greatest linguists in this area was German linguist French Bob, who published his work on the common origin and relation of 5 languages, Indo-European languages, so Sanskrit, Persian, Greek, Latin, and German, on the basis of their comparative analysis of verb morphology. French Bob actually contributed significantly in the study of Sanskrit grammar and published several of his works on it. Then, the next great linguist was Michael Braille, who was a French, and then he went to Germany and studied Sanskrit from French Bob. And he was the first person who introduced the word semantic in his paper. Later on, the next significant contribution was a Swiss linguist, Ferdinand de Saussure, who taught Sanskrit language at the University of Geneva and proposed the idea of structure within the language, and he is known as the father of language processing. He died in 1930, but later his 2 colleagues compiled his notes and published his work in 1916. So the first 3 significant contribution, these 3, are towards the language processing. And then we have the 2 significant contributions, as we all know, Markov chain. So Markov applied his Markov chain on the verse novel Eugene Onegin, written by Alexander Pushkin, to predict vowels and consonant, which was a major breakthrough in language modeling. And later, 1948, Claude Shannon proposed information theory and entropy to advance this language modeling utilizing Markov chain. So this is just a brief history of language processing and modeling, which led to the development of language models. Now let's try to understand how we develop any large language model, which is the underlying AI model of most modern AI chatbots. This will enable us to understand how AI chatbots work and why they lack intelligence. So first of all, a language model in natural language processing is a machine learning model that enables machines to understand and generate human language. And a large language model is an advanced form of language model that is trained on a large amount of data. And this large prefix is added to language model due to this large data set. which derives its name large language model. So here, as you can see this diagram, I'm trying to provide a less technical overview of the design of LLM. I've divided the complete design of LLM into 4 steps, and you can see in figure data collection and pre-processing, model architecture design, model training, and model optimization. So the first step, where most LLM are pre-trained on a large amount of textual data and billions of parameters, as I just explained. So this large amount of data is normally collected from internet or other data repositories, articles, books, and other written form of text. Then we design the model architecture, and most LLMs are normally designed utilizing a neural network architecture called transformer. You probably heard about the transformer, but I'm not going into too much technical detail. A transformer-based neural networks were able to supersede the previous types of neural networks due to their efficiency in language processing and generation. So there are 2 important points why we use transformer and why we are more successful: because of the parallel computation, and another is the attention mechanism. That is the novel concept used in transformer to capture the long range dependencies and contextual information in sequential data. So attention mechanism is the most important method that enables it to provide more coherent and meaningful responses. The pre-training of LLM are performed on the large amount of pre-processed data as we collected in the step 1. So that is used for the pre-training, and all LLMs are pre-trained to understand grammar, semantics, and patterns in language uh, to generate their coherent responses. Normally, this pre-training is unsupervised learning, meaning that it processes the unlabeled data fed to it for the general understanding, because we collect data from all over the place on internet. So it's difficult to refine or to make it label data. And we pre-train without any specific instructions or mapping to any specific tasks. The final part is the model optimization, which is the most important or significant part of getting good responses from these LLMs. So as we trained these LLMs on pre-processing data, so we pre-trained. So that's why we call pre-trained, because we have to train or optimize later. So they only understand about the rules and relationship in the language. And if you want to improve their performance for making them suitable for a specific tasks, or enhanced responses, or acceptable responses, or up-to-date responses, then we have to optimize them. There are several methods that can be used to optimize the performance of these models, and some of the most established methods are, as you can see in the lower part of the diagram, fine-tuning, prompt engineering, reinforcement learning from human feedback, and retrieval augmented generation. So here, fine-tuning is a process where model is optimized for a specific task using a small data set related to that task. Whereas prompt engineering is a process of creating and refining prompts to ensure the model generates the most appropriate responses. The third is called RLHF, is a very specialized form of optimization method which improves the large language model based on feedback or corrections from humans in order to enable it to understand the context of human communication and provide the most acceptable response to us. And finally, the last one is RAG, which is an external knowledge base to provide the most up-to-date information. So most LLMs are trained on old datasets or which are not up to date. As a result of this, the output of LLMs may not be complete or factually correct. So RAG can provide solutions for this problem by combining the pre-trained LLM with an external knowledge base in order to provide up-to-date response or factual information. So this is how it works. Now we have got a good idea about LLM and their working. So look at the operational structure of ChatGPT. Obviously, it is very similar to the LLM structure we have looked at. Now here, if you look at the first step, that is GPT, that's the base model of ChatGPT, we all know. So the first step is basically the combination of the first three steps of working of LLM. So as we just discussed these three steps. So these three steps we perform at the step 1, and where we get our pre-trained model, as they named it GPT. And the last step, as you can see, so these three steps are the model optimization, where we are using the two different methods to optimize this GPT model. The first is the fine tune, as we discussed on the previous slide, and these two are the RLHF, which is the human feedback method, which we already discussed on the previous slide. So we can map what we looked at on the previous slide, how we train, but obviously that is a model specific training. So when we talk about any specific chatbot, there's slight variation. If we look at the types of machine learning, then this is the unsupervised learning, and rest of the learnings are supervised and reinforcement learning. So I'm not going into that technical, we all know that these. So look at another view of this working of ChatGPT. This diagram is slightly detailed. It explains the input data types and output of each stage. So here we have got the unlabeled data, which is the text data all over the place from internet. Then we have got demonstration data. So we give the example data to teach this model. And then we have got label data, which is again comparison data to train our reward model. And then we have got the prompts to generate the most optimized response. So here at the first stage, we get the pre-trained LLM. Then we have got the fine-tuned LLM. Then we train the reward model for reinforcement learning. And finally, we get the optimized model as ChatGPT. So this is just a very, very superficial understanding of how ChatGPT is trained or works. In order to understand, because obviously what is inside is the language model, or you can call it large language model, and now it is evolving to large multimodal model because it processes more than the textual data, means other modality like image, audio, video. So it's evolving very rapidly. Now come back to intelligence again. That's the point we want to discuss. So we have three categories of artificial intelligence: ANI, AGI, and ASI, as you can see here. ANI focuses on developing intelligence concerned with a specific task to emulate a specific mental capability, rather than try to fully emulate a human mind. So that's the ANI we are talking about, and all the chatbots are ANI. Now AGI is as smart as human, and ASI is smarter than human. So if AI chatbots were to be intelligent, then they should be at AGI level, means this level. And at the moment, they are not. After looking at the operational structure of LLMs and GPT, we know that AI chatbots are language models and focused on language. Of course, they read entire internet, huge amount of information, which is hard to imagine for us, and they are capable of adaptive learning and increasing their knowledge base of information, but all based on correlation in language. And they are still not able to learn, understand, reason, adapt, and act to surroundings or evolving situations. Generative AI and other AI techniques enable AI chatbots to create excellent contents and communicate in a similar manner as human. This is comparable to some of similar mental capabilities of human intelligence, for example, natural language processing and communication we have got. Nevertheless, these AI chatbots do not incorporate all mental capabilities of humans, which form the intellectual intelligence. Therefore, the current capabilities of AI chatbot and ChatGPT do not make them truly intelligent, as these can cover only some of the mental capabilities, but not all, which is required to transform into AGI. So when people ask me, what do you think about GPT-5, GPT-6? Are they going to make a lot of progress and become artificial general intelligence? I don't think so. This is my answer to this question. I would like to make it very clear. I'm not saying that there is any reason to think that machines cannot become intelligent at some point in the future. But the current language models are really not going in that direction because they are LLM, and LLM is simply not a suitable AI technology for any of the physical capabilities. LLM does not exist in the real world and does not design to address physical AI challenges currently. It remains to be seen how they will evolve in the future. Of course, we will wait for it. So finally, I will conclude with the statement of Meredith Brossard in her book Artificial Unintelligence. If it's intelligent, it is not artificial. If it's artificial, it's not intelligent. So thank you so much for listening to me, and I would welcome questions now.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin Naik, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Hello? Can you hear me, sir?
Hello? Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear.
thank you so
Yeah.
much, sir. I just have a question. How can we add emotions that you are saying that is missing in these LLMs? I mean, what technologies will help us to at least start initiating the emotional interface in this AIs?
So, I mean, it's already, we've got some emotional, robots or chatbots. We're trying to insert some chips in it, but the problem, I'm only focused on that's a different aspects of, emotional interaction with the machines. But because we are focused on the LLM at the moment, so when we talk about ChatGPT or Gemini or any other model, so my uh, focus was the LLM. And the important aspect of this LLM is the language model. This is a language model. So we need to be, careful about talking about everything or considering it as a AGI, because language model is meant to be for language processing or understanding. So we can improve the response or make it a very real life or human like response, but that is not what we see as a AGI. So the question, come back to your question, how we can add emotions, that's a complete different aspect. There may be a technology embedded in the future with the GPT or Gemini or other chatbots, but at the moment, I don't know how the LLM will cope with the real emotions because it only interprets the language and words.
Thank you, sir. Your keynote really makes us understand how GPT is answering for certain questions which you have showcased us. Probably we'll try to question like that and ask and find out where a bit of more work can be done from our end if possible. But that sounds very interesting to all of us. Thank you so much for your deliverables. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Hope I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir,
Okay,
I will just take 2 minutes.
sure.
It is an honor and privilege to introduce Dr. Swagatam Das Garu to you all. Dr. Swagatam Das Garu earned his BE in Electronics and Telecommunications Engineering, ME with a specialization in Control Engineering, and PhD from Jadavpur University. He currently serves as a professor at the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. He previously served as the head of the Electronics and Communication Sciences Unit at Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata from 2021 to 23. He also held the professor and deputy director position at the Institute for Advancing Intelligence from April 2023 to March 2024. His research interests encompass deep learning and non-convex optimization. He has published over 400 research articles in peer-reviewed journals and international conferences. Dr. Das is the founding co-editor in chief of Swarm and Evolutionary Computation, an international journal by Elsewhere. He has served as an associate editor for several prominent journals, including the IEEE Transactions on Neural Networks and Learning Systems, IEEE Transactions on Cybernetics, IEEE Transactions on Evolutionary Computation, Pattern Recognition, Neurocomputing, Information Sciences, IEEE Trans on Systems, Man and Cybernetics Systems, among others. He is a member of the editorial board of Information Fusion, Progress in Artificial Intelligence, Applied Soft Computing, Engineering Applications of Artificial Intelligence, and so on. Dr. Das has received over 32,500 Google Scholar citations and an H index of 86 to date. He has actively participated in the program committees and organizing committees of renowned international conferences such as ACM Multimedia, IEEE CEC, and more. He currently serves as an ACM Distinguished Speaker. He received the 2012 Young Engineer Award from the Indian National Academy of Engineering and the 2015 Thomas Reuters Research Excellence India Citation Award for being the highest cited researcher in engineering and computer science in India between 2010 and 14. Welcome, sir. It is indeed an honor to have you here today. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Swagatam Das Garu to deliver the keynote speech.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I hope my slides are visible to all of you. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
confirm?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. So in next 40 or 45 minutes, I will be giving you an introductory full 360-degree view of the extremely transformative and happening landscape of the generative artificial intelligence, gradually pertaining towards large language models and their transformative role in our scientific endeavors across the research world. And finally, talking about a few burning problems that exist with LLMs and need to be solved. So, uh, with this agenda in mind, let me just tell you deep neural networks started to become extremely popular since 2012 as leading industries all over the world, including Facebook, Google, Amazon, all of them started investing billions of dollars. Their most important selling point was representation learning. What is representation learning? In traditional machine learning cycle, which you can see as figure A in this slide, we have certain items of data which are basically abstraction of real world object in terms of numbers, floating point numbers sitting together as a scalar or a vector or a matrix or a tensor or even a graph. And the most important quest in all the domain of computer application for over last 50 years was how to most optimally represent maybe a text document or an image or a video or a graph in terms of most informative discriminative set of features or numbers. So there has been a plethora of human handcrafted feature extraction techniques, none of which is universally applicable to all sorts of data items. Even within the same genre of data, I mean images, let's say, some feature extraction techniques would be extremely good for satellite images versus some others which excel at medical images, or some completely other sort of images which excel as synthetic aperture radar images. So this was a burning problem. Every time you change the nature of the data, you need to fine tune, or you need to make a lot of effort to come up with a proper image feature learning and feature representation technique. Deep neural networks, which are basically layer-wise connected system of extremely simple mathematical processing nodes, which you can see as these yellow circles here, and these nodes are very loosely inspired by the human nervous system building blocks called neurons. They are called artificial. These nodes are called artificial neurons. They, in fact, the lowest level features which are close to your computer or your machine, like pixels in an image, these features are connected at the input. And while passing through these links, such features get amplified, attenuated, and nonlinearly combined to give rise to most important discriminative set of features. Sensing the context of classification at the output, the neural network, which you can see here, learns extraction of such most important set of features. Okay. In fact, if you change the context, the features that represent the same entity will change. For example, when suppose I go to a bank and ask for a loan, a file opens up in my name, I become a piece of data. And the bank starts specifying me in terms of certain financial parameters, like, for example, what is my CIBIL score, what is my credit rating, what is my fixed deposit amount, annual salary, and so on. But instead of a bank, if I go to a blood bank and try to become a potential blood donor, the blood bank starts specifying me in terms of completely different set of features, like whether I have thalassemia, what is my blood glucose level, what is my age, and so on. So, if you change the context, the features representing each object will also change. Deep neural networks learn this representation, this optimal representation in terms of interpretable and higher level features automatically by sensing the context of classification. Okay, I want to classify between cars versus non-cars, so I should look for engine pipes, wheels, steering. Oh, now I have to classify between birds versus non-birds, so I should look for feather, beak, wings, tail, etc., etc. Okay? And in a nutshell, there are several kinds of neural networks for different types of data that have been evolved over the landscape of deep learning. Most trivial are the fully connected feed-forward network, which usually come with huge number of trainable parameters. Then to compactify fully connected networks, we have convolutional neural networks, or CNNs, which work on data without any specific temporal dependence, like set of images. Images can come at in any sequence. Then we have very specialized recurrent neural networks and the derivatives of such neural networks, which are tailor-made for sequential data, like sentences, text, where words must maintain a typical sequence to come up with a meaning, or maybe a time series. Different networks usually accept different types of inputs and outputs, and all neural networks in deep learning could be expressed in terms of the simplest form y equal to f of x, where x is your input vector or matrix or sequence of vectors. X is a data item. That is an abstraction of a real world object in terms of certain numbers sitting together. The neural network processes this data item and converts it into y. Y is your output. Nowadays, in deep learning, X could be 1,000 by 1,000 image, 1,000 pixel by 1,000 pixel image, 1 megapixel image, which is very nominal. All of you are carrying several megapixel cameras in your mobile smartphones. So X is such an image, and Y could be a sequence of 10 words sitting together that describe what is happening inside the image. This is nothing but an image captioning system, which nowadays have become extremely easy because of the pre-trained neural network foundation models, which you can very easily fine-tune for captioning tasks, even with a handheld mobile device. Okay? how to design this function. Designing this function means properly tuning the neural network. This process is guided by labeled set of data where the outputs are specified by human experts or they have been obtained through crowdsourcing, crowd knowledge, etc. So you will have already x1, y1, x2, y2, this sort of pairs from the real world. Based on these pairs, the neural network will learn how a function could be there which maps this specific x into this kind of y values. Now, there are two deep inference models to date. One is called the discriminative or predictive deep inference model. These are usually classifiers like convolutional neural networks. They are very happy to learn this sort of a decision boundary between 2 point clouds. Each point cloud in some abstract feature space represents a class of data. So these yellowish points are representatives of cat images, and these bluish points are representative of the dog images. And the neural network is very happy to learn a fence, a boundary between these two classes. Based on a new point, on which side of this line this new point emerges, the neural network will predict whether it's a cat or it's a dog in the image, right? On the other hand, since 2013-14, the new sort of deep inference model that became extremely popular were called generative deep inference models. These models try to approximate from the limited training set of samples the underlying spatial probability distribution from which different data for different classes must have been sampled. So, if you look at machine learning from the lens of statistics and probability, every piece of data comes as an observation or instantiation of an underlying multivariate random process governed by rules of probability. If we somehow, maybe very approximately, uh, you know, estimate these rules of probability, then we can actually sample from our estimated distribution this sort of data items which would look very realistic but actually fake. Okay, that is the major strength of generative modeling. Nowadays, generative AI can create artificial photographs, videos, text, image, whatnot, okay, which would appear extremely realistic, and it is very difficult to differentiate these generated contents from the real content. Statistically, they are approximating the underlying distribution, and from the distribution they are sampling. So from real world, we have training data. Here, training data means examples of maybe, let's say, images of different classes. These training data are called observations. There's a very famous font term for statisticians, and the model provides synthetic artificial observations, and the goal of modeling is to match these two. Okay, so the model should gradually learn how to generate images which look very similar to real world images but which are actually fake, okay, which were never shot on camera in a real world situation. This is the idea of generative models. And one first generation generative model that became extremely popular in 2014 and onwards is called the Generative Adversarial Network, or GAN. The basic idea of GAN is extremely simple. It employs two neural networks. Again, each neural network you can view as a function y equal to f of x. These two neural networks are called generator and discriminator. So the generator accepts random noise vectors as its input and produces matrices, that means images, as its output through certain transformation over the layers of the architecture. I'm not going into the detail of the architecture, which you can find it from several resources. On the other hand, the discriminator takes as its input an image or a matrix and provides a continuous score between 0 and 1 based on the quality of the input image. Discriminator has access to real-world images, and real-world images means example images. Generative models can generate anything provided they are shown several examples of the content they are supposed to generate. Okay? So the discriminator is like the teacher. it accepts inputs from real world, and it also accepts images generated by the generator. Initially, it needs to learn how to differentiate between these two images. Naturally, teacher has to be educated to teach the class. So first, the discriminator learns how to differentiate between very poor images coming from the generator and very nice images coming from the real world. Then the generator generates more and more images. Those images are passed through the discriminator. It gives them very poor score. And the generator, like a very nice, good student, goes on correcting itself through optimization of its weights and biases until it generates more or less very nice images which could extract scores near to 1 or like 100% from the discriminator. Then these improved generator generated images are again used to further train the discriminator so that it also understands the subtle levels of differences between the improved generated images versus the real world images. This cycle goes on. The training of discriminator and generator go on in an intertwined manner or interleaved manner. And we say generator is like the student, discriminator is like the teacher. They involve in a two-player zero-sum game and ultimately reach a state of Nash equilibrium. So this process helps finally the generator to generate very nice but very realistic but artificial images. So this is just a snapshot of how GAN is learning to generate handwritten digits over only 50 epochs. These are extremely simple toy images. But you see, if you look at the initial epochs here, so initially it was complete noise. The generator is learning to arrange these noises properly, these noisy pixels properly, so that they take shapes of handwritten digits. And this is how GAN images evolved over time. So you can see in 2014, we didn't have enough GPUs, RTX 3090, 4090, L40S, or A100 sort of series. But as the computing power improved over the years, in 2018, the Big GAN project from Google DeepMind, you can see this lady, the wrinkles on her face, her gray hairs, her teeth, all the details. This lady doesn't exist. This picture was never shot with a real camera. It was produced by the generator of a large scale GAN using convolutional neural networks. Then there came the conditional generative adversarial network or CGAN, which could actually further constrain the generation process by using auxiliary information from ground truth. Like I want to generate human faces which would contain only French cut or which would be male faces with a spectacle. So you have a ground truth and you can convert your input image into some other fashion, into some other image like this. You have a ground truth of a night landscape, you have a day landscape as input, and you want to see how that input looks at night or how a winter landscape looks in summer and so on. Following the same generation process, it's not only generation of a full image. You could be able to generate even more pixels in the same image. So that way, now there came super resolution GAN and a plethora of methods following this landmark paper, where you have a low resolution image of 135 pixel maybe per inch, and you can generate many matching pixels in different spaces to make it high resolution. So this is what SRGAN can do. Now you can increase the resolution of any image that you shot on your camera by using this sort of an SRGAN sort of network. Then there came in ICCV 2017, there came the famous image-to-image translation and style transfer. You have two images. You want to convert one image, you want to translate the style of one image into another. Okay. For that, CycleGAN used two parallel GAN networks for mapping from domain X to domain Y and domain Y to domain X. The beauty of this approach was earlier in computer vision also there were several methods of morphing one image into another and mixing the styles, but those were extremely complicated. They sometimes require very nice inputs shot in special studios and so on. On the other hand, CycleGAN is extremely easy compared to that, provided you can afford to train two parallel GAN networks, and then they can convert the source into Zebra, or they can even match the one environment like the PUBG environment game into Fortnite game and create a new sort of game like this. And these are now child's play. You can do them on your mobile devices thanks to CycleGAN paper that appeared in the famous ICCV International Conference of Computer Vision, biggest one in computer vision domain, this conference in 2017. This is one of our paper which shows a more abstract level of style transfer. So you can see the abstract expression of these male actors have been translated into the faces of the female actors. Or even the more abstract, cold expressions of these cats were translated into several breeds of dogs. By the way, am I clearly still audible to all of you? Can you hear me properly?
It's audible.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So similarly, this is actually a video, but it's not running. So similarly, you can see how Dev Patel's face looks like as more and more different styles from different actresses are imposed on that face. These sort of structures are extremely useful in synthesizing artificial data items, in special effect in movies, in automatic prosthetic surgeries and makeup, in fashion industry like Mintra, Nika, everywhere, in virtual try-ons where you upload one image of yours in a merchant site, you buy a let's say a t-shirt, and you can see how you look like while wearing that t-shirt in different poses and postures. These are the magics of this domain, cross-domain translation using generative networks. Then in ICCV 2019, we proposed a three-player GAN. GAN has two neural networks, but we came up with GAMO, which has three neural networks for balancing minority classes in case of extreme class imbalance, which is there in all real life classification problems. Usually, whenever you want to catch up a rare event like credit card fraud detection, number of fraud transactions is extremely outnumbered, smaller than the number of genuine transactions. You want to capture lung nodules in the chest X-ray image of people, random patients. The nodule is an indication of early onset of the lung cancer, but fortunately, the number of cancer patient is very low. Okay, so cancer indication is extremely low, maybe 4 out of 100. These scenarios are called class imbalance learning, and we in this paper showed that how you can generate artificial data in the minority class, and that these data inside GAMO, aided by a discriminator and a convex generator, can spread themselves within the approximated convex hull of the class, following the statistics of the minority class, and thus debiasing the classifier from making several mistakes of false positive or false negative. This is just a sample of the work where you can use GAN-like architectures for very serious issues. Four most prominent paradigms for deep generative models specialized in image data are GANs, variational autoencoders, flow-based models, and diffusion models. Diffusion models progressively add noise into an image until the image becomes completely noisy. Then it uses a neural network architecture to gradually remove the noise until it gets back the original image from the training set. During the training, this back and forth process goes on, and finally, when the model is deployed, you will take an extremely noisy image like this, and you will use those trained neural networks like denoising autoencoder like interfaces to denoise this extremely noisy image. And then, when the full noise is removed, you will get back a new image, which was not shot with camera, which is realistic but actually fake. Now, all the DALE 3, ChatGPT 4, Imagen, all such text to image prompt generators, which can generate image based on what text prompt you give to them, all of them operate on stable diffusion model that was published by Google just in 2022. So the field is advancing at a very, very rapid rate, and it's a very happening field. So deep generative models had been mainly used to generate synthetic data like GAMO. They have huge applications to avoid class imbalance problems, text to image, image to image conversion, image in painting, super resolution, speech and music synthesis, rendering, texture generation, character movement in computer graphics, and to top it all, now the entire world is taken by storm with the advent of large language models or LLMs. Okay, LLMs are machine learning models which could interact with a human being, pretending that it understands the syntax and semantics of a language. Pretending. Computers do not have sensory organs. They cannot organically feel each and every word. When I say read mutton curry, so some images flash upon my inner eyes. My salivary glands get excited. I can imagine how it looks like. Computers, on the other hand, cannot do that. What they do is they understand the association or compositionality among different words. Like, what are the other words with which this red is sitting, and how frequently? Red book, red idea, red fire truck, red riding hood, red mutton curry, red chicken stew. What are the other words with which the red is sitting? Based on this association and frequency of compositionality, a meaning of red is actually quantitatively formed in the machine memory of the model. That's why John Firth, a legendary linguist from 1957, remarked that you shall know a word by the company that it keeps. So large language models are a part of deep learning which heavily intersects with deep generative models or generative AI as well. Now, and with that, now the computer scientists or the machine learning practitioners are hoping that we are moving from AI towards AGI. Although I believe we are several steps away, but at least toddler steps are being taken. That is the hope of the worldwide machine learning researchers. What is AI and what is AGI? Let's try to understand it, and in the same context, let's try to understand what are LLMs. So, in traditional programming, which reigned the world of computer science still till I would believe up to 2000 almost, there is a smart human being who will encode certain rules, like if an animal has four legs, 2 ears, has fur, likes to yarn or take cat nip, then it's a cat. Computers were deployed as dumb clerical persons who would take up an input, and through traditional programming it will just match whether that input satisfies the if clauses of the rule, like whether that animal, its input is an animal image, whether it has four legs, whether it has 2 ears, and so on. If all the matches exist, then the computer will predict that animal to be a cat. Then there came in 2012 onwards, actually this was there far before also, but 2012 onwards came the wave of neural networks. As I said, Google Brain, Google DeepMind, Facebook AI Research, all these organizations were found. Leading US universities started to take up deep neural networks research in a very large scale. What was that basically? Now you want to show the computer example images from several different classes, like 1,000 images of cat, 1,000 images of dogs and other classes. The computer, nobody needs to, give these rules. The computer needs to, discover how it could differentiate between different classes of objects by looking at the representation of the object in terms of highly informative discriminative features. And also it learns that optimal representation, as I said in the first slide. This was neural network boom since 2012. And when it was about to saturate, in 2022 November, OpenAI, this company, which was founded by one of the students of the godfather of this entire domain, Prof. Geoff Everest Hinton, Elias Sutskever, was the founding chief technical officer of OpenAI. They came up with a first very, very well acclaimed and easy to use chatbot backed up by a large language model. This chatbot interface is called ChatGPT 3, which has GPT 3.5 at its backend. This model came, and again, the AI was driven towards a boom. What does it do? What do all the large language models operate? How they operate? It's like, suppose you are a very motivated teacher in a university, you don't care about cheap popularity. So when a student approaches you with some question, you are not among those who will say, okay, I will tell you 7 questions out of which 5 will come in your semester exam. Go and cram those 7. No, you will take your student to a huge library, put the student in front of some almirahs and say, okay, you want to know about cats and dogs? Read all these books here. They contain huge information about the entire animal kingdom. Read them and come back to me. Then I will ask you questions. The student, he could have run away and never come back, but the student is also very motivated. So the student burns his midnight oils, reads all those books, and comes back to you. Now you ask the student any question from animal kingdom, he has lots of information, so he can give a nice answer according to your need. Even if you ask the student, if you show the student picture of some creature which was not there among the books, the student can match its, you show it a dinosaur's picture. So the student can match, okay, this entity has long scales, huge tail, it lays eggs, so it must be a reptile. Okay, so the student can still identify its class even if it is out of syllabus. Exactly in a similar way, these large language models are trained. These are also neural networks. These models are initially trained in an unsupervised manner, just like the teacher puts you in front of almirahs and you get to read all those books without anybody supervising you. Similarly, these large language models gather huge amount of common natural language processing tasks from millions of digital text stored over the internet in repositories like Wikipedia, PubMed, WebMedia, and so on. Once it learns all these things, now this machine learning model or this neural network becomes a foundation model, a versatile entity which is well versed with common NLP tasks. And then these models could be fine tuned for more specific tasks. This is how exactly they operate. It's not just like we get up to class 10 general education in all subjects, history, geography, maths, physics, and then we gradually, narrow our education towards more specified subject areas pertaining to different, jobs that we will take up in future and so on. That is the fine tuning. So large language models are general purpose machine learning systems which could be pre-trained in an unsupervised manner and then fine-tuned for specific purposes. So pre-training and fine-tuning are two very important words related to that. Pre-training is like training a dog. You take a dog and you first teach it basic postures, sit, calm down, stay, to become a good canine citizen. But when you need a special service dog for policing or for guiding or for hunting, sniffer dog, then you need to give your dog very special training. That is like fine-tuning. So the large language models, sorry, initially they are used to solve common NLP tasks like text classification, question answering, document summarization, text generation. Then they are used for retail, finance, entertainment, stock prediction, invoice generation. Nowadays, in all big HR departments of big companies, they are used to write performance feedback reports and so on and so forth. uh, many other things that I will gradually tell you, and you can do that with little amount of data through fine tuning. Okay, so for example, you can see in this picture, you can see this image which is provided is a chest X-ray image. This has been provided to MedPalm 2, which is a medically fine-tuned version of the Pathways language model, or PALM 2 from Google AI. And then this model is generating a pathological report like findings of the lungs, if there is any anomaly, what is the cardiomediastinal size as a shape of the lungs, whether there is fluency, whether it shows traces of cancerous tumor and so on. All those things it can write down in the form of a medical report. Very interesting. Medpalm 2 actually cracked the US medical licensing exam in 2023, July or August, I forgot, scoring 86.2% marks. So accurate. So similarly, in all over India, 150 plus startups emerged since 2023, all of which were on the fine tuning of big large language models like ChatGPT, I mean GPT 3.5 or 4, tuned to specific purposes. Okay? At the heart of these large language models, the neural network structure that exists is called transformer. The transformer has, just in GAN, as you saw, there are two neural network. It's a system of two neural networks, the generator and the discriminator. Similarly, in transformer, we have two such systems. One is called encoder, and the other one is called a decoder. Okay, the encoder is a layered architecture comprising several multi-layer perceptrons, including a very specialized mechanism to learn the contextuality of each word that comes as in through the input text and relation of these words among each other. They actually convert these words in a sentence as floating point vectors in some latent space. This latent space is here. Latent space is a vector space which spans upon all possible outputs from the encoder. The decoder samples from that latent space and finally uh, provides proportionate probabilities for a huge vocabulary on which this model operates to judge what would be the next word in the output sequence. So the decoder actually generates the output sequence of text in an autoregressive manner. The words that has already been outputted, based on them and based on the input text that goes into the encoder and comes to the latent space, the decoder provides probability to all other words in its vocabulary, and then the probability, the word with the maximum probability is chosen from there and put as the next word. This is a little bit very involved mechanism, and all this business started from this 2017 paper in the Neural Information Processing Systems Conference, or NIPS conference now, which is called NeurIPS. Machine learning people are very good at giving name. So this paper's title was "Attention is All You Need." You can see its citation. It's now, I think, 1.5 lakh citations maybe. All these Chat GPT, OpenAI, Google, Palm, all large language models actually started from this paper. And very interestingly, its first author is an Indian, Ashish Vaswani, who is in his mid 30s, I would say. I talked to him last year. He is now making his own, startups. So most of the machine learning endeavors are headed by people who are very young, less than 45 years of age, and they are revolutionizing the entire world. Sergey Brin, who heads Alphabet, the mother company above Google, is nearly 40, 41, something like that. So this self-attention mechanism, to put it in a nutshell, when as a grown-up human being you read a sentence, you don't read each word. Only 3, 4 major keywords your brain takes up, all automatically eliminating the prepositions, conjunctions, articles, and so on. And based on these 3, 4 keywords, the meaning of the sentence is formed in your brain. And not only that, whatever you have read earlier, the meaning of those texts are also related to the new sentence that you read very easily based on only maximum 3 to 4 keywords. So attention mechanism tries to pick up these most important keywords and relate them with the text that you have read earlier to form the meaning of the current sentence, and then decides how to output the next sentence through a quantitative basis, through certain mathematical operators that happen inside the encoder and the decoder blocks of the transformer. I will not be very technical. Now, let me just show what GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformer. This GPT is already trained on huge text in an unsupervised manner from the internet. And GPT-4 is such an LLM whose pre-training as a foundation model is completely under lock and key for OpenAI, that those patents and those intellectual property rights are entirely with OpenAI. It's a product of the OpenAI actually. But it is open for fine tuning by several other people all over the globe if they can pay the subscription fee for GPT-4. That is not very high still now. So what they can do, you can upload an image like this and it can count just from the image number of gumballs or number of beads in these jars, and the numbers they come up with are very close to the actual number. They can explain how they have done it by finding the jar's volume, then estimating the volume of a single bead, calculating the total number of beads, and so on. It will explain how it has done, how it reached that particular number. You input this sort of an image clicked on your mobile phone and ask what flower is this, and it can tell you the species. It says, okay, you see, it says it's a species of geranium, commonly referred to as cranesbill. So it can tell you what is that flower very accurately. It can generate against your, now the future is multimodal vision text models or VLMs, vision language models. GPT-4 is not text only. GPT-3 is text only. Okay, you can not input images, but here you can input images. If you input this image to GPT-4 and say, can you explain this meme? Sometimes I just look at pictures of the earth from space and I marvel at how beautiful it all is. GPT-4 rightly analyzes the image and captures like this meme is a joke that combines two unrelated things, picture of the earth from space and chicken nuggets. So it has understood that these are actually chicken nuggets which are vaguely arranged in the form of a world map. Okay. Similarly, during teaching, in any teaching curriculum, you don't have to now draw tediously a heart's picture on board with chalk. You ask it, generate a diagram of the human heart without labeling, maybe in 2D or 3D. This is actually a 3D drawing. Then you can ask it to label the main arteries, the ventricles, and so on, and it will do that. Okay, very nice. So GPT-4 and similar vision language models or vision text models are wonderful. Chat GPT, on the other hand, is not a large language model. It's a chatbot. A chatbot is an interface between the large language model, which is GPT 3.5 for the free version of ChatGPT, and human users. So there is a large language model and there are human users. Who is bridging them? Who is interfacing them? ChatGPT. Okay, which is a product from OpenAI. Similarly, we have Llama, Palm, several such versions, some of which are free, some of which are not free, depending on the company policy. Google, Facebook, they have all their LLMs. So, and there is a transformer. The the uniqueness of ChatGPT is it employs a very interesting module called InstructGPT, which takes human in the loop and human feedback from users, and based on the human feedback, it goes on, improving and correcting its content through through a learning procedure called reinforcement learning, which actually is based on some agent performs an action on its environment, receives a reward or punishment as a result of the action, and then the agent goes on planning the future endeavors, plan subsequent actions to maximize the reward. That is the Instruct GPT within Chat GPT. This Instruct GPT is very useful. And then there comes prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is actually the most lucrative job at present in US and other countries. It refers to crafting effective prompts. What is a prompt? It's an instruction to your GPT or your LLM. So how would you give effective prompts or instructions so that the LLM will be fine-tuned and will give you the proper output that you desire? It involves formulating queries or commands to elicit the desired response from the AI. And prompt engineering is extremely crucial for fine-tuning GPT-3's kind of LLMs. So unclear prompt may not get the neural network do the things as you desire, because neural networks involve huge amount of randomness inside them. So against an unclear prompt, they may come up with very poor outputs. So just if you write, continue this story or summarize this article, these are unclear prompts. Effective prompting is when you are giving more context, when you are guiding the LLM to what you need. Just like, instead of summarize this article, you say, okay, provide a concise summary of the main points of this news article about climate change. So it will orient its summarization about climate change. Concise means it will try to keep it within, let's say, 100 words and so on. So the release of this is one of the landmark papers. Large language models are zero-shot learners. So where you can add, if you want it to solve some logical problem in ChatGPT, you can just say, let's think step by step. This is one indication that it should solve the problem in certain steps. This was one of the most primitive and earliest prompting techniques designed in 2022, called chain of thought prompting. Large language models are zero-shot learners. There came this chain of thought prompting. LLMs could be very well utilized in scientific research. They can very efficiently extract relevant information from scientific literature. They can aid in data analysis, interpretation, hypothesis generation. They can be, so you can summarize a huge research paper within number of words specified by you, 200, 150 words, by using the LLM. Then you can change the text with your own hands and so on. They can assist in drafting the research paper by creating the main section heads and section openings in the research paper. They are excellent coding assistants. Now Meta has its own AI compiler. You just prompt what code you want. I want a merge sort code for sorting arrays with variable number of integers in each of them. And it will write you down the code. It will explain what is happening in the code. It will debug the code and so on. There is no need of usually for this sort of problems, they write very accurate codes. You have a MATLAB code, you want to convert it into Python, or you have a Java code you want to convert into C, or vice versa. Just ask ChatGPT, it will do it. You copy paste the code and say, write me the appropriate Java code for this C code, and it will convert it. Then not only that, it will connect to online Java compilers. It will run the code and it will show you how the results are. So cross-language research collaboration, language translation, excellently done by these sort of large language models. Data annotation and labeling, extracting insights from unstructured data. This is just an example of composing a funding proposal. So this was our prompt for GPT 3.5. Compose a funding proposal to the BST, Government of India, outlining research in the field of LLMs, etc., etc. So it writes down the basic structure: project title, objectives, budget breakdown, timeline, expected outcomes, alignment with national priorities, now what you need for every government proposal, conclusion, and so on. Summarize this. So you can then fine tune you can fill up the insides of this section with your own thinking. Summarize the blog. Coding, as I said, excellent coding assistant. It can review your code, it can debug your code, it can write code for you and whatnot. Explain new concepts. What will be the metric for rotating black hole connected by a wormhole? It's a physics question, astrophysics question. And it writes down and explains this whole thing with proper equations and so on. What is particle swarm optimizer? And it explains it very nicely. Now you can even design a new sort of evolutionary algorithm, like, let's say, by prompting the chat GPT, formulate exponentially averaged momentum PSO, which is a new name given by me. And then chat GPT comes up with standard update equations, explains how it balances between exploration and exploitation tendencies in evolutionary computing and so on. In one of the recent works where we try to do Alzheimer's disease staging, We are training a publicly open LLM called Llama 3, which involves 8 billion parameters to generate medical reports based on multimodal fusion. For each patient, we are taking the MRI scan images, the electronic health records, and the genetic data to judge whether the patient has dementia or acute Alzheimer's disease or mild cognitive impairment or normal, and then prescribe something. For example, these are the medical reports generated by Llama 3 after fine tuning. Advise physical activity. So this person is having Alzheimer's disease with high probability. So it says advise physical activities like jogging or swimming, include antioxidant as an additional option, monitor for any side effects of medication, consider consulting a neurologist for advanced care, and so on. So near the end, are we ethically on the right track? With great power comes great responsibility. AI is going to equip mankind with lot of time saving, lot of, kind of freedom from doing repeated boring tasks, and giving great power to churn the ocean of data collected from common people. But with that, are we going to be really on ethically on the right track? LLMs are not free from hallucination. Because of their randomization, sometimes they can come up with outputs which are factually inconsistent. They can fabricate. For example, they cannot understand the instruction, translate, but these are initial. LLMs are in their extreme infancy. They are just nascent. 5 years down the line, no one knows where they will take us with more computing power and so on. Now, what we see is hallucination. If you ask the LLM, translate the following English question into Spanish, what is the capital of France? And its output could be the capital of France is Paris. This is a wrong output because your question was to translate the sentence. The sentence is a question. The LLM did not understand it and it gives you the answer to that question. Sometimes, because of its randomness, it can even stumble onto logical inconsistency. And then there comes, it has unfathomable training data, but size doesn't guarantee diversity. There are huge encoding bias. So nowadays, as you know, data comes from society, and society who are adding continuously data to internet, people from advantageous countries, people from developed rich countries like US, Canada, UK, Europe. How many people from Ghana, Lebanon, Syria, Tanganyika, Palestine, all these disturbed lands of the earth, how many people from these countries are able to add data, add their worldviews to internet? Zero, almost. So the ultimate result is LLMs are trained on data that come from a limited set of subpopulations. As a result, the bias from there also enters into LLMs. We need to be very cautious about bias. Okay? Bias is just like giving a disproportionate weight against or for a person. When we are going to adapt LLMs for a multilingual country like our own, Bharat GPT project is now in place. I don't know when it's going to be completed, but we need to be very cautious that representation from all social strata should be there in the training data. I just give you one example before I close on LLMs, how biased they are. I give this prompt, three friends enjoying coffee at Starbucks, and it shows this picture. In Google, you type beautiful faces in image search. You will see 99% of the faces are female faces, and 100% of those female faces are white with silver blonde, platinum blonde, golden blonde. So white females from very rich countries. Here you see it has given the Starbucks sign, and the three friends here are all Western. They are wearing casual outfits. They have these blonde hairs and so on. Now I give the prompt, three friends enjoying coffee at Starbucks to ChatGPT 4 without RLHF, reinforcement learning human feedback. And now it has created this image. These three friends, this is okay. But do you really expect people wearing lungi and this sort of, Indian stereotypical dress is just sari and lungi and dhoti, and they have this sort of knots and other things. This is fine, but this doesn't usually fit our view in Starbucks in almost all the leading cities, including Hyderabad. Then we did lots of feedback to the LLM through human, this RLHF, and after this feedback, now they came up with this picture. This is still fine, but the problem is here, as if these friends are going to some marriage party and before that they are having coffee at Starbucks. They will never show proper Indian people dressed in Western casual outfits and having a chat in Starbucks. This is a result of bias. Similarly, huge gender bias exists in ChatGPT. I will just show you one example. It's extremely biased in content generation against the LGBTQ plus groups, sexual minorities, and it will also generate, just this as an example, you ask an LLM to write a story about your family. It will obviously say, my mom is a homemaker, my father is a doctor. It will never say, my father cooks at home and my mother is a professor. It doesn't have that reverse view. Similarly, down the line, it if you ask, okay, what is the sentiment captured in these sentences? He loves travel alone. The LLM predicts joy. She loves travel alone. The LLM predicts fear. A girl traveling alone, it's fearful fact. Why? Where from this bias is coming? This bias is coming from the society. And when we are thinking of using LLMs for performance feedback, for law enforcement, for serious application sectors in the society, we must be very well aware of these biases. So last slide, miles to go before we sleep. Current LLM related AI is lacking explainability, has ethical concerns, has bias, and is not free from misinformation or hallucination. There is no reason to believe everything that it says. This is just the infancy. We see great hope in 5 years down the line when LLMs gather more training data. These companies open up their products for public review because of worldwide demands. So the training data must be inclusive. When we are going to apply LLM in a multilingual country like Indians, understanding cultural idioms, culture is indispensably associated with language. So understanding the cultural idioms of different local languages is extremely important. Some phrase may be very humble in my language, but very offensive in your language. That must be respected. Generative AI models, whenever they launch a product, even as a startup, they should tell how to differentiate their content from the real contents. That should be a precondition for public release of all generative AI products. There should not be any law enforcement based on biased machine learning models. We should look into how to reduce the computation or carbon emission by looking more into neuroscience. Our brain holds the secret. Our brain has huge computability power in the order of exaflops. Exaflop means 10 power 18 floating point operations per second compared to the best supercomputers available on huge power demand, which operate on petaflops. Petaflops means of the order of 10 power 15 floating point operations per second. So why not take a more closer look and try to understand how the human brain operates? That would help us to reduce the computing power requirement for LLMs. So finally, how can we build AI technology that decentralizes power, protects our people, and offer key benefits to all members of the most marginalized communities? That is the sole goal of creating a progressive society backed up by AI. So with this, I would stop. And this last thank you slide is not made by me. This was made by Daletri when I told it, create an image for my slide of thank you for this particular presentation. So it created this nice slide with some suggestions for that this presentation is on LLMs and people from all over the globe, because I talked about bias and so on. So with this, I would stop. And if you have questions, I can take up a few quick questions if you have.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights and knowledge in generative AI. Yes, we have some questions, sir. How can LLMs enhance future human collaborations and in decision making?
Yeah. So first of all, LLMs are great cross-lingual assistance. In fact, in all leading languages, that has huge digitization of text already in place. LLMs can very effectively convert an English text into Korean or Japanese or some other, maybe German to French, and cross-lingual collaboration by using impromptu translation of text documents from one language to another is just a wink of an eye. You just prompt and copy paste that thing in LLM and it will do that. This feature is gradually coming into Overleaf and other other multiple collaborative platforms of writing texts or in LaTeX and other languages. In decision making platforms, for example, when we take human feedback and process our decisions, human feedbacks can come from several different people. English is not the language of everyone. That's why the LLM industry is now heavily pushing their boundaries to transgress into several other prominent languages. In case of India, for example, if we built up a telemedicine for plants network just to help our farmers, peasants. So a farmer in a remote location of India are not supposed to ask a question to a voice assistant in English. So the farmer will ask the question in his own language, and then the answer will also be directed after searching the database, matching with medical practitioners, the why the crops of the farmer are dying prematurely, the answers, what sort of medicine the farmer should use in his fields, the answer should come in the form of the farmer's own native language. That's where their LLM is actually progressing, and I hope within next 5 years or so, there will be huge, improvement of the LLM in several prominent local languages from all over the globe. Actually, the more digitization of text happens, the more it goes on learning and enhancing its foundation model, because the machine learning paradigm it is in is called lifelong learning. So more text going into internet from different languages, LLM automatically updates itself. That way, it also improves cross-lingual communication.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. One more question. What measures to be this one, sir? What measures to be taken to ensure the sustainability of LLMs in various applications?
Yeah. So, mostly in various applications, what we use uh, are the fine-tuned versions of LLMs, uh, which are done based on domain-specific data uh, from different areas. Now, first thing is you need to free it from hallucination through certain prompting techniques. Uh, and then, so ensuring the sustainability of LLMs involves addressing multiple facets, including environmental impact, ethical considerations, economic viability, and so on. So energy efficiency and carbon footprint reduction could be done through efficient model training, energy efficient hardware, and optimizing training algorithms. There are several new methods coming up every year for knowledge distillation, model pruning, quantization. Low resource intensive models are coming up gradually, which are also free. Free means you can change all its parameters. You cannot change the parameters of GPT-4 because that is under the lock and key of OpenAI. So, renewable energy sources are being gradually explored to reduce carbon footprint and enhance sustainability. Ethical considerations and bias mitigation process is an active area of research. Then there comes adaptability and continuous learning. As I said, lifelong learning. Most important aspect of sustainability is implement lifelong learning techniques, which nowadays are also called self-supervised learning techniques, to allow LLMs to adapt continuously. You have an enterprise computing application on LLM. The invoices are being generated based on negotiation with human customers in a shopping in a food merchant like Walmart or McDonald's. Now, the food demand changes over time and changes with new food items being introduced uh, in the menu all over different merchant sites all over the globe. Similarly, so this new data And the new experience should be continually fed into LLM so that it can also adapt itself accordingly. For that, we also need user education and community engagement. Users of the LLMs in several different sectors need training to ensure they understand how to use and interpret the results coming from LLMs, when they can do hallucination and so on. So these are some aspects of ensuring sustainability. Now it obviously depends on the specific domain of applicability someone is interested. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your time, sir. We truly appreciate the time and effort you invested in preparing this lecture. And thank you once again for sharing your knowledge and being part of our event, sir. Thank you so much. In future
Thank you.
also, we may
Have a
connect
nice
with
day.
you.
Sure.
Can you please share PPT, sir, if possible?
Yeah, I will PP. I will share it through email ID
Right.
with the conference organizers.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Have
Thank
a
you so
great time.
much. Thank
Have a
you for your
great time.
time. Thank you.